Hey guys, Jessica from Peace Love Books, and same here with all the books that I've read so far in April. I always forget what month it is when I film these, but it is currently April 18th that I'm filming this. I actually did go on a trip already this month, so I feel like I haven't had that much time to read. So I only have 8 books, but I do plan the next 2 weekends to read hardcore. So I'm hoping to have a really long second half of the wrap up of the month, but I do always like to do this no matter how much I've read because I do not have a good memory when it comes to what I read. So I like to talk about them fresh in my mind. I also have read a lot that I've talked about already on my channel. I do have a vlog that should have gone up before this, and I do have a bunch of videos about these already because I've been obsessed with what I've been reading. So I will talk about the 8 books I've read, which I have been loving, and let you know what I thought of them. So I do have 4 5-star reads out of the 8 books I've read. I'm looking down at my I do a tracker in Canva that I post to Instagram. If you would like these updates like as I read, definitely follow me on Instagram. I update my reading all the time there and on Goodreads. Those are always linked down below. But the first book I read was Psychotic Obsession, finally, by Lee Rivers. I actually was doing this for a new releases reading vlog and then didn't give my all for that reading vlog, so I scrapped it and just posted the content to my Patreon. So if you would like to see that, I do have that vlog on my Patreon. I just didn't give it enough like extra content that I wanted for my main channel, so they got that vlog because I didn't want to completely just get rid of it. But this one is the dad story from the Edge of Darkness trilogy. I was fully obsessed with Lee Rivers last month, so I read this one, which is Tobias' story. We know he's a psychopath and that he had children with the mom of the hero of that book series, but that they're not together. Like, she is married to someone else. So we see their love story start and how they get to where they are today. I would love a romance for them, or at least a book, because I don't know if you can consider this a romance because there is no HEA at the end of this book, and you know she's married to someone else in that trilogy. So he meets her as a 20-something. He's kind of awkward. She's a doctor and he like works as like a doctor assistant in this lab, and he becomes obsessed with her. He already has like a psychotic personality and he takes like medication for it, and he sees a therapist, and when he meets her it like triggers something in him and he's like, I'm obsessed. And enter psychotic obsession. He starts spiraling and wanting her for himself, and you get to really see her relationship with her now husband and how that started and like how that progresses too. So I really liked it. I got to see a lot of different characters. It's really sad though because you do see characters who you know are dead. So if you read it where you read the Edge of Darkness first, which I highly recommend doing Edge of Darkness and then Psychotic Obsession, I feel like you'll really appreciate it so much more. I gave this 5 stars. I loved it. I love seeing Tobias, but I don't think I would have loved it as much if I didn't already love him from Edge of Darkness because he's not super likable in this book. So 5 stars though. So good. And I listened to Deceit by Caitlin Taylor. I have been seeing Caitlin Taylor around a lot, and my Hoopla actually does have her books, so I listened to this. It is White Shoes, and it starts off, it's kind of very much like, it reminds me of like Monty J and like the Corrupt series by Penelope Douglas, the Devil's Night series. It's very like dark academia kind of, but more so these guys just like run around, do whatever they want, and there's like secret society stuff happening. So in this one, the heroine is betrothed to this guy because that's like what their families do in the secret society, and she arrives on campus, I think they're in college, and finds him with another girl in her room, I'm pretty sure, and she's like, this is horrible, whatever. So she leaves. She starts falling for his uncle, who is the coach of the swim team, because she does like to swim for fun, sees him a lot at the pool, and starts falling for him, and he's falling for her. So that's man number 1. Then his best friend, her fiance's best friend, starts liking her, and he's like, I'm gonna take you on a date and show you how you should really be treated. And she's like, okay, and he's super like the fun and kind of like doesn't take anything seriously friend, and he starts falling for her. So that's guy number 2. And then she thinks she has a stalker, because she does have a stalker. She has notes being left for her, and she thinks it's this guy that she sees around a lot who's very just like dark and mysterious. So she confronts him and she's like, hey, stop stalking me. And he's like, you have a stalker? And he goes like hardcore, I'm gonna protect you. And so he like never leaves her side. He'll sleep outside her room, he'll sleep in her bed sometimes. So that's guy number 3, and they all are okay with it. She's like, why do I have so many boyfriends that are okay with being my boyfriend? And she has her fiance too. So I don't know where this relationship is going, but it was fun. I really liked it. There's not too much of a plot outside of the romances, but I still had a lot of fun. I gave it 4 stars. I'm excited to continue. I just love a good White Shoes romances. I feel like if there's not as much plot, but it's White Shoes, I don't care. I love it. Then I do have, I read a lot of dark, why choose, and fantasy this month. So I did read A Court This Cruel and Lovely by Saskia Stark, so I was gonna meet her at a Polycon, which I did. She's amazing, and this book I gave 5 stars. This book was so amazing. So the heroine lives in the society where when they're born, they have to give all of their powers to the king. And then when they turn, like, I think like 21, 22, around that age, they are given some of their powers back, and they have like a blue mark on them that says they're allowed to have powers. And so the king's guards go around from town to town to town trying to see if there's anybody hiding powers, and if you do, you're literally killed. And everyone who hid you is killed. So this happens in her town, and she actually is hiding powers, and someone else in her town is killed, and her mom is like, you need to run, they're going to kill us. And so she runs, and she is on this like road journeying and runs across these like mercenaries. And at first they won't want anything to do with her. They save her from drowning, and they're like, good luck, see ya. And then she crosses paths with them again, and they realize what powers she has, and they're like, we could actually use you. We'll help you get to the kingdom if you help us get into the kingdom. So they go on this journey together, and this is literally like the first half of the book. Like, this is such a fast-paced book, and she sees a guy that she's dreamt about, and he is with the mercenaries, and they start falling for each other. And it goes from there. The second half of this book was wild. It was so good. The ending, I'm not someone who goes into a book trying to figure things out. I'm just along for the ride. I don't catch a lot of clues or hints that easily, so they had to be like obvious for me to like pick up on them, because I just read. I don't think too hard when I read. And so I did not see the end coming. I was like, whoa, that was shocking. I am surprised, and I loved it. So 5 stars, new favorite fantasy for me, and I'm excited to read more from this author and in the series. And I did read My Dark Fairy Tale by Gianna Darling, which came out on April 3rd, April 5th. It came out the beginning of April, okay? And this is Gianna's new mafia romance. She has written the Anti-Heroes in Love duet, which I loved. This is an age gap. Heroine is from America. Her father has never wanted her to go to Italy. He is from Italy, and she's always felt like a personal connection and calling to Italy, and her family's always like, never go there. And she decides to plan a trip there and lie to her family. So she is there, and her first night there, she wants this like cute aesthetic little car, and breaks down, and she's like, this is what I get for just not getting a good car. And someone finds her on the side of the road, and he is not a good man, not the hero. It's a different guy, and he wants to take advantage of her. And so she runs, screaming bloody murder, running through these vineyards and out into the road, and gets hit by the hero. He hits her with his like Ferrari. It's like his expensive car. And he's like, good thing I feel like helping you tonight. And he helps her. He takes her home. Literally the capo of the mafia in where they are. Florence. And so he ends up making her stay with him until she recovers, and she's very innocent in the dangers of Italy, and they start falling for each other. And I gave this 5 stars. I loved it so much. This is book 1 of a duet, so it does on a cliffhanger, but I loved, like, it was like a love letter to Italy. I went to Italy for the first time last year, and it's my absolute favorite place in the world now, and I loved being able to read about it. And he is literally a mafia boss, and he does some mafia boss things, but he's falling so hard for her. He literally braids her hair. I loved this so much, and I can't wait to see how their story ends. Then I did read Corpse Road by J. Rose. This I read because she was going to be at a Polycon, and it is a dark why choose romance. So this also had serial killers. So our heroine, it starts out where she's like locked in a basement, and it's by a serial killer. He has raised her, and he brings woman after woman in and murders them next to her. And so she finally uses one of their bones to literally escape. And she's running, and the police find her, and she's placed under the protection of this security team. I forget what they're called. The Saber Security. And they start looking after her, and she's falling for these guys that she's staying with, and they are trying to track down this serial killer. So it goes from there. They're trying to figure out like who she is. I was gonna say something spoiler, but I don't want to spoil it for you, and I don't remember how far into the book this was revealed, but they're trying to figure out things, and she's trying to figure out things, and they're helping her figure out those things too. So they have to team up and go from there. It's kind of a little bit slower, but I still really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed her relationship with the guys and the serial killer aspect and uncovering secrets. And there's a cliffhanger. Book 1 of a series. I enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars, and I also listened on audio because my hoopla had it. Then I read A Game of Vales by Eva Chase, again because she was going to be at a Polycon, and this is a why choose fantasy. And so in this world, the heroine is from a kingdom that is like an enemy of the kingdom she goes to, and they pretty much take over her, so she has to go for diplomatic relations to marry the prince of that other kingdom. So she arrives, and he's like, oh hello, guess what, you're gonna be in a competition with like 12 or 13 other women, and if you lose you die, so you play for my hand in marriage or you die. and that's how you leave here. So she's already mad because she was supposed to be the betrothed. She doesn't want to. She hates him. They hate her. They don't get along, but she doesn't want to die. So she starts to compete in these trials, and there's obviously people who also want the hand of the prince, and they're trying to sabotage her, and she starts falling for the prince's foster brothers. So the kingdom basically takes in forcibly these princes from other kingdoms, and they treat them horribly, and so they hate the prince, they hate the kingdom, and they hate her, but then they start liking her, and I really liked the three guys. I really liked her relationship with all of them, though I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know what the end game here is with the relationships. I will say that. But I thought it was fun. I thought it would be a little bit darker. Like, a lot of them weren't like battle competition things, like trials. It was more so like, one of them was you had to give him compliments, and then the one with the worst compliment got taken out, or you have to dance for him in the first one to stop dancing. I will say there was like a tiger that was like attacking them while they were dancing, so that got a little bit like deadly, but it kind of had a more like cheeky tone to it, kind of like what Jasmine Mass does. So that's kind of like what this was about. It's different than like a straight up romantasy, but I still really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars as well. I read the ebook, and I'm very excited to continue on and read more from Eva Chase for sure. Then I listened to Captive of the Horde King because, you guessed it, she was going to be at a Polycon. This is by Zoe Draven, and I've seen a lot of good things about this, specifically my friend Avery. I was very excited because I could get the audio. If I downloaded the ebook, it was only $3 on Audible, so I bought it, and it was a solid, fun read. It very much gave me Ice Planet Barbarian vibes, which I read back in like 2020. I binged all those audiobooks and I love them. So this one, the heroine, she has to go and marry the Horde King. So her brother does something and gets in trouble, and she offers her life instead, and she goes, and he's like, oh, you're gonna marry me. So she has to marry him, and they're not human, and she is one of the humans, and they don't get along. Both of them hate each other, and she knows that her mother died because of one of their creatures that they have, and so she just hates them, and she starts feeling attraction for her husband. It very much reminds me of like Khal Drogo and Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, where she thinks he's like this big dangerous guy, but like they end up falling in love. Not to like that extent, like that intensity, but kind of similar vibes. And they start like kind of understanding more about each other, and she starts falling in love. More like lust at first, because then she like thinks he might be off like with other women, and she gets really jealous, even though like she shouldn't like him. So it was a really fun dynamic. It was very quick. I gave it 4 stars as well. I had a really solid reading month where like most of the books were 4 and 5 stars. I definitely enjoyed this. I'm excited to continue on the series. Then I did read an arc of Crescent Kingdom. I was sent this gorgeous paperback from the author. This is by Tessa Hale, who is another Why Choose author. I was just in my Why Choose era this month, and I love it, and I can't wait to read more. But this one is her first in her Wolves of Crescent Creek series, and it's wolf shifters. So her last series was all dragon shifters, and then we see Ren in that series, where a lot of times in her books it's always like the heroine doesn't really know what she is and discovers her powers. In this one, Ren has known all along she's a wolf shifter, and she has like, she can sense emotions from people, and she is able to like cover the fact that she's a shifter, so like nobody knows when they're around her. And so she moves to Crescent Creek, and that's where these 5 wolf shifters are from this wolf pack, and she's been there for a couple weeks, and then the guys come back from like their mercenaries, so they like go off and do things, and they're back, and they see her, and they're like, who is this? And why do we want her? So it's the 5 guys and her, and she's running from something, so there's definitely a danger in that aspect coming after her. And the 5 heroes all have different approaches to her. One of them thinks she's there to kill them all, and other ones just really like her. There's a flirty guy, there's like a kind of damaged hacker, and they're all really good. I really like this. It centers around their gym that they own, and she does like box fight MMA at their gym, and they do as well, and it's so good. I gave this 5 stars. I love Tessa Hale. Love the first book in her new series, and I just cannot wait until we get more. This comes out in next week, so April 26th, I want to say, is when this comes out. So check it out when it comes out, because it's really good. And then the last book I read, I actually only have 5% left, but I'd rather talk about it now than when I get to the end of the month and might forget my fresh feelings about it. But I read Heavenly Bodies by Imani Iru. I did not realize I've been reading some thick books. So my ebook says I'm over 500 pages in, but this goes to like 480. I am reading this. I got to meet this author at a Polycon. I was trying to read a lot of books that I saw of authors there, and the romance is a 5-star. This romance is like, they fall so hard for each other, and the hero is literally touch her and you die. There's one point where they're leaving a place because they're in danger, and he hears someone hurt her, and he's like, I will be right back. And he literally goes back into the danger to try to take out the person who touched her, and I was just like, give me more. I love it. But plot-wise, I do think it was a little bit slower than what I wanted, and it took me like 2 weeks to read. It took me so long to read this book. So I would say overall it's like a solid 4. It was gonna be the ending so far kind of wants me to put it at a 4.5, but it just took so long to get there. The first half was super action-packed and fast, and I loved it. It was the second half that really slowed down for me. So it's like between a 4 and a 4.5 right now. We'll see what I feel when I finish that last 5%, but I loved it. Like, I already got to the huge reveal at the end too, and I'm just like, where are we gonna go now? Like, what is gonna happen next? I'm so excited for book 2, and I just really like the dynamic between them. She is at their kingdom because she is destined to, there's like a prophecy, she's destined to fall in love with a star, which is like gods in their world, and that will kill them both. And so this gods want to kill her because they don't want to die, and so she goes to this other kingdom kind of for sanctuary and says, I can help you and be your weapon if you help train me, because she has all these gifts and she's never been trained to use them, and one of them is sleepwalking, one of them are shadows, and I never remember what her third gift is. I don't remember, but they're gonna help train her, and it's specifically the prince of that kingdom gonna help train her, and he has like light magic and fire and stuff like that. So he trains her. It's their romance, and I really liked all the secondary characters in here too. I think that was a really strong point for this fantasy. I really hope that they get another book too. I think she did say that Leo, his best friend's gonna get a book. I will say, the names in here were so hard for me because I already have a hard time remembering character names, but her name was Alara and his name was Enzo. They have a friend named like Irita or something, and then his friend's name is Leo, but his full name is Lorenzo. There's Lucas, there's Marissa. Who was the person with the I name? I was like, I can't keep track of these characters, because at one point she did call him Lorenzo, and in my mind it was Leo, and I was like, why is she talking to his best friend like that? Like, that's a little close for comfort. And I was like, oh no, it's Lorenzo because it's Enzo. I was a little confused by all these names that were very, very similar. But overall, I still really, really enjoy this one. I'm so excited to read book 2. That romance is chef's kiss. It was so good, and that's what's keeping me pulling along in here. I cannot wait to read the next book. 4.5 stars. We'll settle on that. And those are the 8 books that I have read so far in April. Let me know if you've read any of these and if you enjoyed them. And if you've made it this far, leave me a star. Any kind of star emoji, just let me know you've made it to the end. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.